México es el octavo productor de automóviles en todo el mundo. Es también el cuarto exportador de vehículos de motor. Ahora bien, una empresa, Nissan, está haciendo una apuesta mucho más importante, una apuesta para incrementar este papel de México en la industria del automóvil. Nissan está aportando $2,000 millones en la inversión de una nueva planta en Aguascalientes. Hablé sobre este tema con Carlos Ghosn, el director general y presidente de Nissan. México es el octavo país productor de automóviles, de vehículos motorizados en el mundo y es el cuarto exportador. Pero esa situación puede cambiar. Una empresa japonesa originalmente, acaba de tomar una apuesta muy importante en México y está haciendo una inversión de $2,000 millones para establecer una nueva planta de producción en Aguascalientes. Esta empresa es Nissan. Nissan es una empresa conducida por Carlos Ghosn, quien tiene una experiencia, una trayectoria muy peculiar. Él nació en Brasil, se educó originalmente en el Líbano, posteriormente pasó a Francia, donde hizo sus estudios superiores, ha trabajado en distintas empresas, pasó por la empresa Renault, posteriormente fue a Nissan en Japón y actualmente, mire usted, tiene algo que se considera realmente inimaginable en el mundo del automóvil. Es presidente y director general no solamente de Nissan, sino también de la francesa Renault, y es considerado una de las grandes leyendas de la industria automotriz en todo el mundo. Para mí es un privilegio que el señor Carlos Ghosn nos reciba, y más en esta nueva planta, Aguascalientes 2. Mr. Ghosn, thank you very much for having us here.
It's my pleasure.
Why Aguascalientes? Why commit $2 billion to a plant in Mexico?
Well, because we're very happy in this place. We're happy, like company can be happy whenever you have high level of competitiveness. We have competitive costs, we have competitive quality, we have good responsiveness, we have a good team spirit. We have people who really want to be number one, are not accept the actual performance, no matter how good it is, as it's okay. So this kind of mindset, coupled with a very strong performance, make us really wanting to invest more in Aguascalientes.
Some people still have the idea that the Mexican worker is, I don't know, maybe lazy, or he's not a very good worker. What has been your experience with the Mexican labor?
My experience is the fact that when the Mexican worker is well trained, when he has a clear sense of what is being expected from him and why, and when he is well managed, he's really one of the top workers in the world. At all the levels. But you need to make sure that the training is correct, you need to make sure that he knows where he's going, and you make sure he's well managed. In this case, it's exactly what's happening in Aguascalientes. We have more than 40 plants in the lines in more than 20 countries in the world, and we classify them every year in terms of quality, in terms of cost, and in terms of responsiveness, how responsive they are to market evolution. Well, our Mexican plants, Aguascalientes and Cuernavaca, are at the top. And I can tell you there are good people there. I mean, we have the Japanese plant, we have the Chinese plant, we have the British plant, we have the French plants, we have the American plants, and Mexican fare very well, in front of all these people. Again, same thing. Good training, good management, good strategy, we're getting the best results.
Are Mexican-made vehicles good enough for export?
Oh yeah, I mean, look at what's going on in Mexico. We are planning to build 1 million cars before 2016 in Mexico. Today we are approaching 700,000. We're going to be moving up to 1 million cars. From the 1 million cars, 300,000 will be dedicated to the internal market. As you know, we are leader in Mexico, and we are intending to continue to be leader in the future. We're also bullish about the Mexican market. 300,000 cars dedicated to Mexico, 700,000 exported. These exports are United States, Canada, but also the South American continent.
What are the main changes you're viewing, you're actually seeing in the international market in these times of globalization?
Well, I think, obviously there are always some disappointment here or there, but overall, 2013 is going to be another record year for the industry. More than 80 million cars sold. Industry had never sold as many cars. And I think next year, from everything we're seeing, all the forecasts are pinpointing to another record year. Next year should be another year with a very high level of sales, because practically all the markets are going up. Even Europe now is turning the corner. I mean, for the last 5 years, Europe has been down. we are foreseeing a flat European market in 2014, but the rest of the world should be up. China never been disappointing, but even Russia, Brazil, and India, which had a disappointing development in 2013, should catch up a little bit in 2014. So I'm bullish for 2014.
You've always been a great believer in technology. Ever since I've known you, everything you've written also has a clear indication that you believe technology is the future of the industry. What is Nissan doing right now in terms of technology?
Well, a lot of things. That means because obviously this is not an industry of commodity, and all the people who believe that they could build car and sell them like you produce a commodity have disappeared from the market. When you take a look about who is today doing a good job in the industry, you can see a lot of company with a lot of innovation and a lot of technology. In our case, we're pushing into 3 directions, and you're seeing some of them. The first one is everything which is about electrification of the cars, zero emission cars with electric cars, but also everything which is using electricity as a potential addition to oil. That's number one. And you're going to see more of it. Number 2 is the connectivity of the car. That means when you are in a car, you need to feel like you are in your house or you are in the office, which means the web, the telephone, the possibility to access anybody you want, the fact that you have a lot of automation into the car, allowing you to take off your attention from time to time to be able to communicate. All of this is being built into our car. And the third important element is, and we have shown it, is the automated car. That means the car where you have nothing to do, you just sit in the car, input the address, and then it takes you there. I don't think this technology is ready now, but I think it will be ready by 2020. So automation of the car, connectivity of the car, and electrification of the powertrain are 3 main directions that we are pursuing.
Is the world ready for a car such as the Leaf, which is totally electric?
Oh, that means it's not only ready, it's needed. It's needed. Look what's going on in countries like China. Look what's going on in terms of global warming. Look at all the alerts in terms of emission of CO2. And we continue to build more cars. And countries like China, India, Brazil, Indonesia, a lot of the emerging market, and we didn't see most of them yet coming to the industry, like Africa, like the Middle East. I mean, the number of cars in the world is going to continue to grow. I don't think we can just accept as a fatality that CO2 emissions is going to continue to go up. We have the technology in order to limit the growth of CO2. We're going to use it because we need it.
How about the efficiency in internal combustion engines? How much improvement have we seen?
Well, there is a lot of improvement and everybody is working on it, but it's not sufficient. That means the fact that you're cutting emission by 10% or 15% or 20%, on existing engines is not going to make it. You're going to need technology with zero emission. That means you're going to need at a certain point to make sure that when this industry grows, it's not going to be a concern for everybody about the future of the planet. And we consider it as a very good mission, not only a mission in terms of principle, but also it's a very good market, being able to bring a car that is considered as totally neutral in terms of impact on the environment.
You've introduced a new concept car of Infinity. In fact, Infinity is now available in Mexico, which is very good for Mexican consumers. But what are you showing us with those Infinities? What are you showing us with your showcase cars?
Well, what we are showing you is the fact that some countries are going to have a premium market, which is going to be developing a lot. It's the case of Mexico, because if you take the 80 million cars sold globally, you have about 10 million premium cars, you have 10 million entry-level cars, and you have 60 million, which is the bulk of the industry. So we have Infinity to compete in the 10 million premium cars, we have Nissan to compete in the 60 million bulk of the market, and you have Datsun to compete into the entry level. So we have a strategy which has been segmented in each one of them. So the introduction of Infinity in Mexico just means that we, as a leader of the Mexican market, we just want our fair share of the premium market.
When you announced the reintroduction of Datsun, I felt a pinch of nostalgia. It was my first car at Datsun in the 1970s. Is it going to be sold in Mexico, or is it only for India and countries like that?
Look, on the first stage, it's mainly we have announced India, Russia, Indonesia, and South Africa. These are the 4 main markets where this is the first wave. It's going to take some time before we fulfill the needs into these markets. But then there will be a second wave and obviously we'll consider many countries.
Some people call you, at least in Japan, the 7-Eleven man because you don't seem to rest. How do you manage to conduct a company like Nissan and a company like Renault? And aside from that, you do a lot of work of, to help people. How do you manage to arrange your day so that you can do it efficiently?
Well, first, obviously, you need to be surrounded by a strong team. That's for sure. Because the more you multiply your responsibility, the more you need to be surrounded by people you can rely on at all the levels. That's number one. Second, it obviously requires a lot of discipline. Discipline of not doing what you like to do, but discipline about doing what you need to do, particularly the things that only CEO can solve, and making sure that the people around you are going to be solving all the other issues which are at that level of responsibility. And third, you need to keep yourself in good shape, because I can tell you that the amount of jet lag and travels allows you, and people, when you come down from an airplane, people don't know that you have been traveling 14 hours. They don't care. They just want you to be shaped up and ready to answer that question and paying a lot of attention to what they're telling you. So you need a good physical condition.
Exercise.
I'm sorry?
You have to exercise.
Exactly. So far, so good.
What do you expect for the future of the automobile industry? Where do you expect us to be in 10 years, 20 years? You talked about automated cars. Some people think this is totally impossible. Is that going to be the future?
Oh, I think it's going to be the future. And I'm going to tell you why it's going to be the future, because we need it. People spend in average 2 hours per day in a car, in average. So some people spend 3-4 hours. And this time today is totally unproductive. There's nothing you can do while you're driving a car. So we want to make sure that it becomes productive time. I mean, you can read, you can write a report, you can teach your kids, you can consult your doctor, you can do a lot of things when you're in a car. You can communicate. That's number one. And second, our life expectancy is going up. 75, 80, 85. I've been told recently that every baby born today has more than 50% of probability is going to live more than 100 years. So imagine people now starting to have problems keeping their driving license at 75 years old or 80 years old. If their life expectation is 100, well, you need an automated car, because that's the only way you're going to keep your autonomy of transportation. So there is a market for us behind it. On top of this, automated cars are very safe, because most of the accidents happening are due to human mistakes, while you're eliminating human mistake because there is no more human interaction. So we see a lot of advantage. And again, what human being wants, he does. We need this technology, so we just want to make sure that it's going to happen.
What kind of car do you personally like to drive, or do you drive?
I drive a lot of cars. I mean, I can tell you, this is one of the few privileges of being a CEO of a car maker. You drive a lot of cars, of your own cars and the competitors' cars. So I drive every kind of cars for different purpose, vans, 4x4s, crossovers, sports car, small city cars. I drive everything, and I like to drive them because I like to make sure that I have my personal experience beyond the explanation I'm given about the development of technology.
What do you expect from Mexico? Do you expect Mexico to continue growing? What's your expectation of the future of Mexico?
My expectation about Mexico, about particularly Nissan in Mexico, is to continue to lead the market with the way it is today, a very substantial lead compared to the challenger, which is 5% market share behind. A very good positioning in terms of quality and reliability. That's why I always follow the level of customer satisfaction index, sales satisfaction index, and making sure that we have cars that are pleasing the consumer. How many cars we have in the top 10 most sold cars in Mexico? Today we have 5. It's a good indicator. So what we want is more leadership in Mexico, and particularly use the competitiveness of Mexico to support other markets. And this is the reasons for which we're transforming Mexico in a big hub for exports.
Mr. Carlos Ghosn, CEO of Nissan, I do want to thank you for this conversation.
Thank you.
Y a usted, amigo televidente, que hace posible este programa, se lo agradezco también. Esto es todo por hoy, pero no se lo olvide. Nos vemos la próxima.